before we crack on with this week's episode, we finished the previous episode on you were about to tell us who your thoughts were on who might be at Camp Out next year. But as I promised I did edit it out, I did. So
and now I can't remember.
So when I listened to it, when we talked about it the first time round, you said Seb Alex.
Yes.
And I said I didn't know who that was. But as it turns out, I actually do know who that is. I just didn't know I knew who that was.
Yes.
I reckon I already followed him on Instagram. And as I was searching for him, I realised, oh, actually, yes, it's that guy with the beard.
Yes.
And he is funny. I do like a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, I don't think he was there last year. I think there's a chance he wasn't there this year. Definitely wasn't there this year, we'd have known.
No.
Possibly next year. Who knows? They're releasing it in about a month, I think they said, the lineup.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm hoping for, but it's not going to happen. Gojira, Enter Shikari, and Bring Me the Horizon. That'd be an amazing lineup, but it won't be that.
I don't think so.
No. Oliver Sykes might do it. He's the lead singer of Bring Me the Horizon. He has a burger restaurant in Sheffield.
No way, really?
Yeah. Sorry, vegan burger restaurant, obviously.
Yeah, I assumed, but yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. If you're ever passing Sheffield, then you want a burger that doesn't have death in it, then there you go.
That's good. That's good.
I literally can't remember who else I thought.
I think we danced around Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
I'm not sure if that was. I'm not sure if that's realistic.
I don't know. No. I mean, Romesh has been confirmed, but
yes,
Wim Hof could be there.
Yeah.
Fern Cotton.
Just so you can fanboy.
No, just I know that they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Not going to happen. Because if anyone was going to headline, it would be Fern Cotton, not Romesh Ranganathan.
You reckon? Is Fern more famous than Romesh? I think Romesh is more famous than Fern.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Did Wim Hof have an early morning Radio 1 breakfast show at any point? Not breakfast show, but Radio 1 show for a few years.
Oh, the morning show she did, didn't she?
Yeah, never know.
She's pretty famous. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. All right.
I don't know.
I'll take it.
Seb Alex and Wim Hof. That was pretty much it. That's the massive anticlimax to Wes's
Where's his big ideas on who's going to be at Camp Out next year?
Yeah. And for the record, anyone that did see the Instagram post of me and you at VRev, God knows how long ago that was. My hair is now off and doesn't look shit like it did in that picture.
My hair is also off, but not through choice. So,
and it's been that way for quite some time.
Yes, many years, sadly. Did I put in the post when that picture was?
No, I think you did. I can't remember how long ago.
Oh, it was only July last year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, your hair does look pretty bad there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going.
That was post-lockdown hair, wasn't it?
No, I was just going with the.
Right.
I'm gonna have it at a length so I can wear a hat, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, phase.
Right.
And what I actually did was I got it at a length so I can wear a hat and I look like a complete tosser, phase. So we live.
Well, the trouble is in that picture you weren't wearing a hat. So if you'd have had the hat on, it would have been fine, wouldn't it?
It would have been.
If your hair was grown to be able to wear a hat. But, sadly, no hat.
So, on our current series, let's say, of positive climate news.
Oh, go on.
Doesn't really matter. There's again
doesn't generally exist.
Nothing really great, except there's there's a large shipping container company that's going to divert its ship so it doesn't kill whales. Brilliant. Or we could just stop killing whales. Just generally, that would be good.
Yeah.
The biggest country in the United Kingdom, Wales, on a separate Wales.
Oh, right. Okay.
Is going to ban single-use plastic. That's great. Well done.
Completely.
Wales is set to become the first country in the UK to ban single-use plastics. The new bill will make it illegal to supply or offer to supply unnecessary disposable single-use plastic products to consumers in Wales. I don't know when that's going to happen. Probably by 2060 or something. Don't stop it now. Stop it in a few years.
Yeah, that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, depending on how long it takes. Yes, you're right there.
In fairness, they'll ban straws but still use plastic cups.
Yeah, and still fish.
The UK is planning more than 1,000 bee bus stops. So a bus stop with a bit of greenery on top to attract bees.
Oh, right, not a bus stop for bees.
No.
Because they can fly. They don't need to get the bus.
Yeah, or alternatively, stop farming honey. That's always a good idea.
Yeah, that would work. And stop using pesticides that kill bees. That also quite revolutionary, these ideas was.
Yeah. Samsung sets a goal to attain 100% clean energy by 2050. If we last that long, of course.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's just, this is all good news. No, it's not. It's
really yeah. Well, I mean, the trouble is, that is the good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the good news is shit.
Yeah.
How bad is the bad news?
I know. Just bizarre.
Oh, it's depressing.
I suppose you've got to focus on the positives and stop being so negative.
Have you though?
I don't know. Maybe.
But if you settle, you settle for what is the minimum that is being done, then we're not going to get the radical changes that we need.
No.
Because people will say, "Oh, focus on the positives. We're trying to go clean energy by 2050." Well, that's 28 years away, mate.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pull your finger out.
I'm going to get this statistic wrong. I know I will. So everybody could shoot me down for it. But they were saying like, they're trying to do things by 2030. There's like this deadline of 2030 that kept popping up. But actually, if you like stop cutting trees down, let them grow, or plant new ones and stop cutting them down, in the next 7 or 8 years, forests will be back. You just stop cutting them down and let them grow back. It wouldn't be a problem. But no, we've got to do all these other things by 2030, or just plant trees again and stop cutting them down for whatever other stupid nonsense.
For
I'm going to get off my high horse.
Yeah, vegan shouldn't be on a high horse. You should stop cutting them down to grow or to farm cattle, because that's the majority of the reason, especially the Amazon.
Yeah,
it's not on.
No,
I'm not having it anymore, Wes. We're not having it.
Our grade mate, George Martin.
Yeah.
He posted quite an amusing thing earlier on.
Go on, read it out for us.
I will when I can bloody well find it.
Man looks up thing on internet.
So I think you've got to read it this way round, but the tag is cannot deal with this level of idiocy.
Yeah.
And Robbie Cameron put, please explain to me how animals are enslaved for me to eat them.
Oh, Jesus.
George Martin replied, you just wrote in another comment that they are, in inverted commas, here to serve humankind, and yet you still ask this question. The comment that he previously put was, animals are not just here for food, they are also here to provide vital services to humankind. Where do you stand on that?
Oh my God.
You're like, hello.
That's not cognitive dissonance, is it? That's just everything dissonance. Oh, jeez. Man alive. This is the trouble. And our mate Robbie there is probably just like someone of average intelligence.
Yeah.
And you think, and if he's average intelligence, how stupid are the people who aren't of average intelligence?
I know. Scary, isn't it? Another guy. This guy's name is not there. Animals aren't as complex as humans. George put, Disagree. Most humans are dumb robots who don't have a single original thought in their brains. You know what he replied to that?
Bacon.
I don't care.
Don't care enough to be following a vegan and posting on their Facebook page. Come on.
It's just bizarre.
People are just stupid.
Don't get it. Don't get it. What I do? Because I was there once.
Yes, we were there, weren't we? But this is the worst part of it all, isn't it? That now we know, and people are still stupid.
Yeah, and I've said to a couple of people recently, I don't know why Michelle stuck with me for so bloody long.
No, well, I mean, for loads of reasons, but especially for the, the bullying, basically, about the vegan stuff.
Yeah. All the comments vegans have to put up with, I put to Michelle, and I don't. Just stupid.
I don't remember you doing that, like when we were like together as a group or anything like that. Like we had that. Did we have 2 weeks in Spain, the four of us? Was she still vegan then? When was that? 2006?
Yes, she would have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember anything then. I don't remember anything then, to be honest.
No, I don't remember last week.
Yes, it's all a bit doom and gloom, isn't it? We still haven't found anything, any positive news.
No, but there there's got to be there. So there somewhere. It'll all be good.
Well, that's the only positive.
It'll all be right in the end. It'll all be right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that the good doctor will be proved correct, but losing a bit of faith, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the end might be, at the minute, it could be a nuclear bomb. It could be any number of things, couldn't it?
I've said it before,
that
and
could
I'll
easily
say it
be
again.
the end.
If that nuclear bomb comes in, I'm going to go and just attempt to catch the bloody thing. Just catch it.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
There's no point trying to survive afterwards. So you might as well just go.
Oh, that'd be horrendous, wouldn't it? Trying to find vegan options when everyone's looting and jeez.
Yeah.
No way.
My mate said to me, what was it? He said, well, to be honest, you'll be a lot warmer, so you won't need to put the heating on.
Yeah, that'd save a few quid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Be a lot warmer, but puking your guts up and growing an extra testicle or something.
Well, 3 is the magic number.
This is the most bizarre intro we've ever done.
Yes, yeah. Although, do you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to Dino again, who said after our comment last week of, in the last episode, sorry, of the intro and the outro had been a bit rambly. He said they were some of his favourite bits.
No disrespect to George Martin, but he was a legend.
He was. Yeah, but the rambly bits are great.
Have you got any shout outs this week, pal?
Yes, I'm going to give a shout out to Greg, who was our guest on episode 7.
Yes.
Where he taught us about the egg banjo. And
it still sounds wrong.
Yes, I know. I'm going to shout out to Greg because not only was he 50 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Greg.
Happy birthday, Greg. But he also ran the Chester Marathon on Sunday.
Wow.
So I'm not sure why you'd want to be aching after having run a marathon on your 50th birthday, but well done to you, sir. Very, very good.
Congratulations. Good effort.
Yes, absolutely. That's really impressive. I know your dear wife has done the London Marathon before, hasn't she?
She has.
I definitely do not have the self-discipline to drag my ass out.
No.
To do that sort of training. That's just a phenomenal achievement.
I've got a thing that I technically did the London Marathon
too. Okay.
Go on
then. Let's hear this.
I walked Michelle to the start line, and then I started walking to the finish line, and I met her at the finish line.
And how far apart was the start line and the finish line?
It was about 6.5 miles, but
right, yeah,
I was quite tired at the end. And I did have to
Good.
wait for her for ages. Like,
Yes,
She
fair
was-
enough then. Yes,
took-
that's the same.
yeah. I
Did you
waited
get
at
a
the
medal?
end. Did I get a medal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Just nicked one. I might surprise everybody one day and just do it, but I doubt it very much.
So you lose toenails and like you get cramp and other things.
Yeah,
It's too much effort, man.
too much effort.
London's horrible, really.
You're not a London fan, are you? I thought of you today while I was on the tube. Thought Wes wouldn't like this. While we were waiting for a signal failure to be fixed.
Brilliant.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Can't beat the Victoria line.
So you do the highs. Go.
Go what?
Go gadget thingy.
Hey,
Hey, Sian, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm very tired, so I'm in my pajamas.
Okay, that's fine.
Hang on. Okay, so can you see me?
That's all right.
No.
Oh, hang
No,
on.
not yet.
There you go. And then we've also
Yes.
got this little terrorist joining us,
Ah,
Amazing.
look at
who
that.
has successfully eaten her toy basket today.
Wow,
Fantastic.
well done.
Charger and half a roll of poo bags and some breath spray. So she's doing quite well.
That's
So
brilliant.
the poo bags,
Yeah.
does that mean they come out pre-bagged?
Oh, honestly, it was not fun taking her for a walk this afternoon and picking up her poop.
No. A friend of mine, his dog broke into a box of celebrations one Christmas,
No, but it was
And-
really ill.
ate the chocolates and the wrappers, and it wasn't really that ill, but for the next few days, the contents of the poo bags were quite sparkly.
Yeah, so she ate my Garmin the other week, and well, just the strap, luckily. So I need to get a new strap for it. But yeah, I've got to.
Oh no.
And that is basically was in her poop in the garden, and then we've had wiry poop, haven't we? And then she should go to sleep in a minute. We'll just use the audio, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We only
We've
got
only
the
got-
video on because it's more personable.
It's more personable, and we've only got faces for radio, so we only use the
I didn't
audio.
want to say anything, but
Unbelievable.
Is that Nora? Yes. She's getting big.
she is.
Is she a normal sized Ashen, or?
She is.
Oh yes, she's a big one. Gosh.
Yeah, she is. We've just
Oh,
been.
how old?
My mum and dad have both got COVID, so that's why I was like in my pajamas, because I've had to go and walk their dog with her, and she's like a big collie lab cross. You've probably seen photos of her, Matt.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to walk both of them. It's fun.
Great fun. Yes.
Oh, right, come sit down then.
She settled in all right, because you had. When did you get her? It was in the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, May time. I want to say May, no, beginning of June, something like that. So yeah, she's about coming up for 6 months old. So
Oh.
actually, she's 6 months old today.
Oh, lovely. Happy half birthday.
Celebrated by eating a toy box.
What better thing to do on your birthday than eat a toy
Yeah.
box?
I might do it on my next birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. She properly house trained now. She's still our Dashend is 5, and she's very much a fair weather outdoor pooper, which is no fun.
Depends. It very much depends. I think she does protest poos. If you go upstairs without her, then she'd like kill. Shit's here then. You're a bit naughty, aren't you?
In all fairness, Matthew, Millie doesn't really have very big poos, does she? Because she's not a very big dog.
No, that's true.
Right.
It always feels like a bit of a waste using a poo bag,
Yeah.
because it's like this tiny little
So,
pellets at the bottom.
got hold of her bottle of breath spray, because she obviously, being a puppy, kept trying to eat her own poo. So we got her some breath spray, and she got hold of that, and I think she managed to drink about half a bottle. So she did have a number of poos today.
Minty poos.
Coconutty.
Oh, lovely.
Dog breath. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Right,
Pooper-
take it down now.
Poopermint.
Oh,
Poopermint. Oh my God.
you just
Wow.
get home and you're like, oh, I forgot. What have you done now?
Yeah.
Right.
Is she a vegan dog?
No, so she's very much a whatever I happened to pick up. But my mum, I think did I send you the Nora stuff that my mum got her? That was like, I think she got it when she got Lola from Animals in Need, and Lola didn't like it because Lola gets a bit of a dicky tummy. And it's insects, so it's supposed to be like, obviously it's insects, so it's not vegan, but like really carbon friendly. Which I thought was really interesting because the insects don't really produce any methane, whatever it is cows produce that we're not supposed to like. I can't remember what it is. That's methane, carbon dioxide.
Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be much better, but I'm sure they farm the insects or whatever they do. I'm thinking of transitioning her to vegan because she loves eating the salad when I do feed the guinea pigs and stuff.
Oh, okay, that's
like
good.
She's obsessed with cucumber. So we'll see how she goes. I'm thinking of getting her one of the plates where it's got like the little sections in, so I can give her like different vegetables and things, and then go from there. Just see how she gets on. I've been looking at supplements for her back and stuff. Vegan dog group on Facebook, and there's some people in there who've been really helpful. So we'll see.
That's cool.
Pretty much eat anything.
Yes, our dog is not vegan. We've tried some vegan food, but we aren't a vegan house because the kids still eat stuff. And when they've got cheese or ham, she's a nightmare. So I think if we were a vegan house, it would be easier because there wouldn't be anything else that she wanted, so she would have to eat it.
My daughter's not vegan or even veggie, and her boyfriend pretty much lives with us now as well, but they know they can't have meat in the house, but they I think she likes cheese, and I'm sure they give her cheese and stuff. So it's just a case of I just need to get my arse in gear really and research it, because I think the vegan food you have to like order online, and I was like it's always when you get to the bottom of the dog food bag and you're like, oh crap, I need to run to Pets at Home again. So see how she gets on. But we've got the cat has to have meat. Well, she doesn't have, she has dry food. We can't bring something like wet tin, like proper meat, but
I'm going to do a very brief intro, but very brief.
We're not expecting amazing things from this week's podcast.
Oh God. And I've got to try and not mention vegan runners, because every time I do, Wes thinks, I mean, the trouble is basically every vegan I know in real life is a member of vegan runners.
Yeah.
Which makes it very hard to have guests on who aren't members of vegan runners.
And I haven't got any friends, so loads.
It's better that way, trust me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's how I like it.
Our guest in this episode is a vegan runner.
Yay.
Yes. And someone who's been vegan for, I think I read 7 years.
Yeah.
And is a teacher, which I'm quite intrigued about. So, big welcome for Sian.
Hi, Sian.
Hi.
So, things doing okay? You seem to have lost a dog that we were chatting to earlier on. Has she been? Oh no, she's back. Right. Okay.
I gave her a chew in the
That's right on cue.
Definitely, she's ready for her moment of fame. I apologise if a squeaky toy goes off.
Yeah, blame it on the squeaky toy. Wes does that most episodes, so it's fine.
I try and mute it, but it doesn't always work.
So, Sian, I asked you to come on. You have been on my list for ages and ages of people that I wanted to get on the podcast.
And then I just keep going to the bottom, yeah?
No, not at all, not at all. One of the things that cropped up only in the last couple of weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so you basically put a post on our on the Vegan Runners Facebook page saying, would anyone be interested in having a collection of supplies for animal sanctuaries? And which I thought was a perfectly lovely thing to do, considering how how expensive things are at the minute, and how we were talking in the previous episode was about how the costs for sanctuaries must be through the roof at the moment.
Yeah.
And suddenly somehow that became the most awful thing that anyone's ever suggested on a Facebook page. Talk us through what happens.
Yeah, so our local sanctuary in like Northamptonshire, right? So I live in Newport Pagnell, which is North Buckinghamshire, is Animals in Need, and it's a sanctuary I've known for about 10 years because I got my previous dog from them. And Annie and Roy are part of the reason I'm vegan. They've obviously put out various appeals, and there's been a few different things. For them, there's the fact that a lot of people got pets during lockdown. And now perhaps they're going back to work and suddenly realizing that it's less than convenient. And also the cost of living crisis, obviously people are starting to worry about bills, which is completely understandable. I mean, I've got all my friends joke that I've got a bit of a petting zoo in my house. You know, trying to feed yourselves, how, you know, heat your house and everything. For an animal sanctuary, that's massive. And I know, like, just in the last few weeks, they've had 11 Herman tortoises
Wow.
left in their care because of heating bills. So I wanted to do something that people could take part in at Parkrun. I've obviously done Parkrun for years, and there's always charity events and things. Initially, it was going to be maybe monetary donations, bake sales, that kind of thing that I know people have done in the past. But somebody on the group was really kind and said, we're not allowed to handle money anymore, which is completely understandable. So we switched to the idea of dropping off sort of pet foods or animal supplies. So that could be obviously cat food, dog food, but also things like hay, vegetables, fresh food. It could be blankets, it could be rabbit food. So there's lots of things that people could offer. And it was always supposed to be, although I'd like to organise it as a vegan runner, and I know, Matt, you guys run it at Chester regularly, it would be open to the public as well. So obviously not everybody who does parkrun is a vegan, but everybody who does parkrun, unless they're mental, loves animals and wants to help out. So why not do a really wonderful thing and have like a food bank essentially, but for the local sanctuary? And I thought, if anybody else wants to do it up and down the country, they can do. Obviously a question was raised about how will we ensure it's vegan animal food? And obviously went back and said, we can't assume that it will all be vegan. We don't want to handle non-vegan products. That's completely understandable. I'm more than happy to drop the food off to the animal sanctuary. And this one chap in particular seemed to take complete, I don't even know what the word is. He seemed to just... Umbrage. Yeah, that's the word. Umbrage. He just basically was like, this is not vegan. And I was like, okay, I completely understand the concept of perhaps cat food not being vegan. Cats are obligate carnivores. But animals need to have several cats in their care who need feeding. They don't have the luxury of choosing to be vegan. So what's the case here? Do we offer to feed and help with all the animals in their care apart from those who need to eat meat? It doesn't make sense to me. I've tried to remain very calm and diplomatic and word it as carefully as I can. And I restrained from telling him to do one. He's clearly unhappy with it. And it was really sad because there were a couple of other people who asked a genuine question and were quite satisfied with the answer. But as is often the case with vegans, there's always one who needs to be the most vegan of them all and claim his gold star. It was left for him to not be very happy, but he'll get over it, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah.
And a long, very long story surrounding it.
It's always easy, isn't it? It's the same modern day thing. It's always easy to say what you want behind the power of a keyboard.
Yeah.
He probably has got that opinion anyway, but it's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Was he could? It was clear to everybody else, or at least I hope it was clear to everybody else, that it was coming from a place of wanting to help. You know, part of being vegan, well, not part of, the whole point of being vegan is caring for animals and putting everybody, others before ourselves. And it was clearly coming from a place of good intent. And I also thought, actually, this is a place or an opportunity for people to engage with us as vegan runners. I put on the event, if you want to come and have a coffee with us at the cafe afterwards and come and have a chat, feel free. And he clearly got it in his head that because this wasn't 100% vegan, I absolutely should not be using the vegan runner name. And he seemed to think that he was speaking for vegan runners and vegans as a whole. And it was a really difficult thing to kind of try and explain my point of view. It was clear he didn't want to have any other opinion, and he wasn't going to be satisfied with just going, do you know what, maybe this event isn't for me, but that's fine. If other people want to do it, that's fine. He did undo it, if that makes sense. And that was the frustration, really.
Yeah, and there was a couple of times when I was following the thread, and also you kept texting me various swear words, and
I love
to question yourself, and you think, am I being completely blindsided here and being completely daft and not realizing how other people feel? And I was genuinely asking Matt, am I in the wrong? Because if I am in the wrong, then tell me, and I will freely say, okay, I've made a mistake here. Let me look at something else. But it makes you question yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there were a couple of times when you kind of thought, oh, he could have left it, and then he kind of doubled down on what he was saying, and you're like, no, you've gone too far, mate. And it was quite frustrating because, like you say, you're doing it from trying to be positive. It's a positive thing, obviously, trying to help a vegan animal sanctuary feed their animals, which they've taken in to stop them dying.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet you're still getting criticised for it.
Yeah, it's difficult because that was my point. It was like, these animals, like, especially, sorry, the cat dog's got a Nora,
it's all right, it's all editing practice.
Okay. Yeah, it was, I was trying to explain to him, like, the cats in their care don't have the choice. What are they supposed to do? Do you want them to just let the cats die? Because surely that's not vegan. Like,
no.
And it's kind of this cycle that he just wasn't willing to back down from. And it's, you said to me about coming on the podcast, and it made me think back to a conversation I had with my friend Rachel, who's I've known for a good few years now. We became friends through being vegans, both being runners. Unfortunately, she's been injured more recently, but she's a super quick runner, and she's one of my best friends. And we were talking about this label of being vegan and whether or not we get to use it. And it was really interesting because we were both felt that we would have to, I'm going to just take this off. Sorry. It was just really interesting because it made us feel that should we be using the word plant-based instead? Because sometimes we feel that we're not good enough or we're not doing right by the vegan label. And it, to be quite frank, pissed me off because it was like, if I describe myself as plant-based, that makes it sound like I'm doing this for health reasons or maybe environmental reasons. And
it's just a diet.
Or it's just a diet. And people, you know what it's like as a vegan. Why are you a vegan? Why are you a vegan? Sometimes from a good place, sometimes you're not from a good place. And I always say it to people, it might sound stupid, but I just don't want to be a dick to animals. Like, I love animals. I've had animals my whole life, and I would no more hurt Nora or Bee or any of my other animals than let somebody else do it on my behalf. So no, I don't want to use the label plant-based. Sometimes I might not meet everybody's like strict criteria of being a vegan. People might say that I'm not vegan because my daughter lives in my house and she isn't vegan. I became a vegan when she was I think 11 years old. I wasn't going to force her to be vegan. I wanted her to make that choice herself, which she is slowly doing. But does that make me not a vegan? Does wanting to collect pet food for animals that are in crisis make me not vegan? Well, if somebody wants to tell me I'm not vegan, that's absolutely fine, because I know my conscience is clear as far as me doing everything that I can.
Yes, it's the sort of thing. It's Hannah, when she came on, said something very similar. However vegan you are, there's always someone who's more vegan than you, and they will make you question
100%
yourself. You're almost second guessing yourself, like, what am I doing wrong? Should I be doing something else?
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the core of veganism, we all try to do the best, to do the least harm. We all do what is within our capabilities, and to try to shame somebody or try to play the I'm more vegan than you card is really detrimental.
Mhm.
And when I get people, you know, ask me if I'm one of those annoying vegans or am I a preachy vegan, that's who they're talking about. They're talking about the people who are, quite frankly, nasty with it. And it's like, the whole point of being vegan for me is not only about animals, but also about trying to live a more peaceful life. And for me, that includes not being nasty to people. I don't need to argue with people. You know, everybody does their best. I don't hate my daughter because she's not vegan. I don't hate my parents because they're not vegan. I don't just have vegan friends. They support me, and that's all I ask for, you know. And the idea that we need to be nasty to each other in any way, shape, or form, to me, is frankly not very vegan. It's very much against the kind of ethics of trying to be a decent human being.
We mentioned it previously, and going back to vegan camp out, where there was on at least 2 occasions that I was aware of, whoever was on the stage had said, everybody put their hands up if you think you are 100% vegan.
Yeah.
And not a single hand went up. Now, whether there are some people that will be like that guy, maybe that guy was there and he was like, well, I'm not putting my hand up because no one else is. There might have been an element of that, but you can't claim that. You cannot claim that you're 100% vegan. It's impossible. At the end of the day, you do as much as you possibly can to reduce the impact on animals' lives. That's all it is.
100%. And I think having that kind of perspective has made me somebody who's quite approachable to my friends. Like, most years, so when I became vegan, it was through doing Veganuary. I was already veggie at that point, and you know, every January I put up, like, if anybody wants to ask me any questions, you're more than welcome to, and people will. And I've got so many friends who have either become vegan, because not just because of me, I'm not claiming that I'm going around and like converting people, but you know, have felt that they are able to follow a vegan path or a vegetarian path, or reduce their meat intake or reduce their dairy intake because of the information I have. I even have a friend who is, we joke about it sometimes, she will never ever be vegan, bless, well, she probably will be in the future, but you know, she's one of those, you know, I can't ever be vegan. But she has a friend whose son has a fatal dairy allergy. She will message me and say, Sian, I really want to get him something. Could you help me out? And I will obviously always recommend vegan products, but that completely changes that little boy's life. You know, that makes it more bearable for his mum to be able to get her little boy through life, that she knows she's got somebody she can ask for help like that. So yeah, like even my dad, you know, my dad's and my mum and dad are both in their 70s, and you know, they're very much, they have to have cow's milk in their tea. That's just who they are. But my dad blooming loves it. They go on holiday and he'll come back and he'll be like, oh, I found you this vegan chocolate. Oh, I found you this. He genuinely loves it. For somebody who is like, oh no, I need to have milk in my tea, he absolutely flipping loves it. He now has almond milk on his porridge.
Wow.
So,
Small steps.
Yeah, but this is
That's
it.
brilliant.
You know, and he just finds joy in finding things that make me happy. He's got an allotment. He hates vegetables, but he grows them pretty much for me. I remember vegan, I ended up with about 20 butternut squash and was like, what can I do with all these butternut squash? But he was so proud of himself, you know.
Wow. Oh dear. So you mentioned that the people who run Animals in Need are part of the reason that you're vegan. What's your vegan story then?
So I'm trying to think. Back in probably 2013, I became sorry, my dog's now chasing the cat. Became essentially like a pescatarian. And for me, fish was always the thing that was hardest to give up rather than dairy. And I remember having some chicken and cutting it up, and it was just full of veins and things, and just being like, I can't handle this. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to deal with it. So I became pescatarian from that point. I've also always had a bit of an intolerance to dairy, so I was already on like lactose-free milk at that stage anyway. And then in middle of 2014, I had quite a serious car accident, which I could have easily died in, and it kind of just changed what I think, I guess.
Wow.
And I'd kind of looked at veganism from the periphery quite a bit. I got my old dog George from Animals in Need, which is run by Annie and Roy. And Roy is an incredible activist. He recently helped shut down a fur farm and things like that. So I've always known, like, at the heart of it, I believed in what they were saying. But I, like many people, I kind of sat there and thought, oh, I don't know, it's a bit extreme for me. I'm not sure I could ever become vegan. And then I saw Veganuary promoted, and I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go. And even now, it pops up on my Facebook memories. Oh, I'm going to give this a go. I'm not going to go fully vegan. And but between Annie and Roy and a lady called Philippa Bennett, who was my lecturer at uni, who's also a vegan, I kind of had the courage to do it. And yeah, I've stuck with it ever since. So that was January 2015. So I'm coming up in January, it'll be 8 years. I've been vegan.
Wow.
It still shocks me to this day. I'm still alive and kicking.
You haven't died of protein deficiency yet?
Protein deficiency. Haven't had to survive on a desert island as of
Are your bones still functioning properly?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of, it's one of those things, I think in my core, I've kind of always had that vegan mindset, because I remember growing up, we always had animals. My mum had horses when I was younger. So her horse Honey, for example, I know horse riding is not vegan, but she had Honey from
unless you're up on your high horse.
Unless you're up on your high horse.
You.
And Honey was
High
very
five.
much sorry. Bravo. Honey was very much a part of our family. You know, my mum would only ever take her for gentle hacks out, and she died at 35. And when Honey passed away, she'd had her longer than she'd had me and my brother. You know, it was like she still is devastated at the loss of her. And then our other horse Rufus passed away about 9 months later. So I was always taught that animals were important. We always had cats. I had, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters. We even had a pet snake at one point that somebody was getting rid of, that my dad was like, you can't just get rid of a pet snake, we'll take it, that kind of thing. Our old dog Ben was one that would have been put down. And even to the point of I wasn't allowed to kill spiders at home. So I've always had, which I know is ironic seeing as my mum and dad are not vegan, but I've always had it that animals are not something that you pick up and pass on as you see fit. If you have a pet, you keep it forever. My mum's very much, she doesn't agree with like buying and selling horses just because, you've outgrown them or whatever. They're part of your family. And so for me, it's always been kind of at the core of who I am. And even now, my daughter Ella, she's 18. She's still not vegetarian or anything, but she will say things to me. It was not funny, but she said to me the other day, I picked her up from work and she went, oh, I saw a video about chicks being grinded up. I'm not going to have chicken nuggets anymore. I went, that's great, Ella, but that's eggs. And she was like, wait, what? And if I remember taking her to we were at this like country house thing, and there was like a little petting farm thing near it, and she bonded with this lamb, and she's not eaten lamb since, and that was about 5 years ago. So I've always tried to let her do it herself. So yeah, she's getting there.
Just wanted to pull you up on having a horse for start off, but also calling it Honey.
Yeah, that's really bad, isn't it? Yeah, so that's kind of me.
But, it's not humanizing, is it? But it's showing people that the things that are on their plate are actually living beings.
Yeah,
it's quite key, I think, isn't it?
100%. And I remember it was probably about 10 years ago. You know, it's like when you get to our age, no offense, boys, but you have no idea, you have no concept of time. How long ago was the horse meat scandal? So in my head,
Jesus.
It's probably about 10.
Hold on. I think
10,
you're saying no offense,
10,
boys.
years.
I think we're older than you, but anyway.
But I remember it being all over the news. It's absolute outrage at...
Stand by. 2013.
There we go, 9 years ago. So absolute outrage that, how dare the French put, how dare they eat horse meat, and how has it ended up in our food over here, because we're British, we're wonderful, we're not barbaric, we only eat cows and sheep and pigs.
Yeah.
And me and my mum had like extensive conversations about it, because even her as a horse owner was like, it is completely hypocritical for somebody to sit there and say, I wouldn't eat a horse, but I'll eat a cow.
Yeah.
And it's my brother and his girlfriend, they travel a lot, and they're real foodies, you know. They're people who are very much on the I won't be vegan but I support you kind of thing. But it's when Sarah comes around, Ella gets really annoyed with her, because she'll say, you know, your guinea pigs are really cute, but I've eaten a guinea pig before when I've been on my travels. And Ella can't understand it, but at the same time Sarah's saying that in other cultures that is their meat, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I went to India, I remember I took a group of school kids to India, like sixth formers, for 4 weeks, and we got to one of the cities and they really wanted to go to McDonald's, so we took them into McDonald's, and there was no beef burgers. Most of the options were, it was either chicken or vegetarian. There was about 5 or 6 different vegetarian burgers and 1 fish burger, I think. But the same, it was like, but in India, the cow is sacred, you know. In some religions, it's the pig. In some cultures, they'll eat this meat, and in others, not this one. It's like, you know, people kick off about dog meat trade in China, but it's only their form of meat. Yeah, we're horrified because you know, my dog currently destroying something on the floor, but in China they wouldn't think about her as a pet. They would think of her as a food product.
Dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's been, since you made that change then, Sian, what's been the biggest struggle you've came across?
The thing I find food wise is I just like not having fish has always been like, as for me, seafood was always a big part of my diet pre-vegan. So probably that. In terms of sort of personal struggles, not a lot really. I find that most people, even like my non-vegan friends, have been really supportive. I did have a thing a few years ago with my local running club where a guy seemed to find it hilarious to set up, I think it was carnivore runners.
Oh my God.
Given a break it to
Genius.
his very small brain that he's not a carnivore, he's an omnivore. But and that got quite nasty to the point of like it would always be comments and putting statuses on Facebook and stuff.
Oh God.
The running club, and it wasn't just me. There were a few vegans in the group, and I kind of brushed it off. But then other people from the club started coming to me and saying, "Sian, actually, I think this is starting to become quite nasty and quite targeted." So yeah, but I just thought, you're really pathetic. Like really, if you're, I hate the word triggered, but if you're that bothered about somebody not eating meat, that says a lot more about you than it says about me. You know, it just shows that you're small-minded, that me being a vegan or wearing a vegan runner's top sometimes to park run offends you that much and affects your life that much. You need to have a serious look at what's important in your life. It's bizarre. Although today I did have something funny happen. I sent a boy out of class, and when I went outside, I realised he'd written on the wall outside my classroom, "Vegan, see you next Tuesday," which I found really because I don't find the C word offensive, and I definitely
Was he just looking forward to next week's lesson? Is that it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because it is Tuesday.
It was one of those, you know, you're like, the C word doesn't bother me, and
It's funny though.
Cheers. So yeah, that's probably the most offensive thing I've had said directly to, well, not indirectly said to me. So yeah.
That was one of the things I wanted to ask you about as a teacher.
Yeah.
The sort of interactions that you have with your students, because I think I would find it, once they knew that I was vegan, I think I'd find it quite a challenge not to include something about going vegan in just about every lesson.
So there's certain things. So interestingly, and I can understand why. So although veganism is a protected characteristic, animal rights is also on the prevent list. So prevent is all to do with terrorism and radicalization.
Yes. Yeah.
And the reason not vegans but animal rights activists are on that list is because of obviously when people have put things like bombs under cars of people who work in in testing labs, and I don't want to get into that too much, but it means that we're quite, I have to be careful, or I'm aware of things I can and can't say. So people, again, the kids I work with secondary school children, so they might say to me like, Miss, why are you a vegan? And I will just say, because I don't like hurting animals. And sometimes they'll say things like, oh, what about eggs and milk doesn't hurt animals?
No.
I will briefly say, I don't want to like lecture them on it, but it's not my place. And I know from my perspective as a parent, I would be pissed off if my child came home and said that their teachers lectured them about this, that, or the other. Sorry, that's my dog.
Sorry, I thought it was Matthew. Sorry.
No, so I would just kind of gently say it, almost like you would to a younger child. Obviously, I'm not going to say that a calf gets a bullet to the head for your pint of milk.
Yes,
that'd probably be cause a couple of emails in. But you know, these are my reasons. Actually, male chicks are part of the egg process, that kind of thing. And you know what? They're all pretty good. It's amazing though, the number of teenagers who will say things like they don't know where they don't know about eggs, they don't know about the process.
No.
Not just the process, but they just don't understand the concept that a cow has to have a baby to produce milk, or they don't understand the concept of lambs being baby sheep. They don't understand, I don't know, it's hard to explain, like the misconceptions. Like I remember having a conversation with them once about chocolate. They were like, you can't eat chocolate. And I was like, you can eat chocolate. Where does chocolate come from? And they were like, a cow. And I was like,
wow,
like I'm not joking, the whole class were like, it's from a cow. And I was like, what the hell? And then I remember,
what are they watching on the internet?
One of the like kind of naughty boys in school, who wasn't the brightest, I said, guys, where does chocolate come from? And he went, duh, a tree. And I was like, oh my god, you know, how does the rest but
wow.
it's because
But
that's part of it, isn't it? They're so far removed from the food process that they don't understand
yes,
it. But
Wes was
my concern.
sorry, Wes, go on.
My concern is the fact if chocolate comes from cows and cow's milk is white, how they make it brown.
Oh
it's
my
brown
god.
cows produce chocolate milk. But awesome, they just didn't get it. But on the whole, the kids have always been brilliant. This boy today, for example, it was just because he was in a bad mood because I told him off. So obviously,
yeah,
fair enough. So you haven't arranged any like class trips to a slaughterhouse or anything like that?
No, I'm not allowed to. But bless them, they do remind me of that episode where Lisa becomes a vegetarian and she's trying to explain to Homer about what she can't eat, and he's like, "What about bacon? No. What about sausages? No. What about ham?" And she's like, "No, they're all from the same animal." And he says, "Yeah, some magical animal." They've just got no concept, bless them.
No.
But, yeah, they've all been really good.
The thing about not realizing that cows have to be mothers to make milk, we discussed that a little while ago, didn't we, Wes?
Yeah.
On another episode, and it's just taught to you as a kid that cows make milk.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no reason why they're making milk willy-nilly. It's just like a given that cows make milk.
And I think in some ways schools need to have, and it's a difficult one because it's how do they add it into the curriculum, but at some point they need to take a little bit, not necessarily responsibility, but maybe understand where that lack of information leads, because I don't think it's a conscious thing of we're not going to tell them that a cow has to have a baby to produce milk, because I know that animals in need, for example, at the moment they've got loads of roosters and ducks from school hatch projects where they take an egg and they incubate it which is great in some ways, you know, showing children how life is created, how it develops, great, hands-on, but they then don't teach them about the consequences of what happens to the male chicken, or sorry, the male cockerel at the end of it.
They don't throw them in a macerator at the end in front of all the kids. Oh, it's a boy.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, the fact that Ella's lived with me obviously for 18 years, but for the 7 and a bit years that I've been vegan, and she still came to me the other day and went, "Mum, they put chicks in a grinder." It's like, I'm sure I've told you, but obviously people put like this blinkered on, like I don't want to see 100%. It.
Yeah.
Because I'd said when what you just mentioned there, Matthew, a few episodes ago, that I'm only telling you this, Sian, sorry, that I was told at primary school on a visit to a farm by a teacher that cows produce milk because they eat grass, and they have 5 stomachs, which makes the grass into milk. That was actually what I was
Do you know
taught
what?
at primary school.
I was told. Now you've said that. I remember learning about the 5 stomachs thing. That's
The reason they have 5 stomachs is so they can convert grass into milk. That's what I was told.
And even I remember working in a first school before I became a teacher. I was a teaching assistant in a first school, and we did a little trip. This was years ago. We did a little trip to like the local sort of farm, children's farm, whatever you call it, where children are allowed to go. They don't keep the children in the farm, which maybe would make people vegan. But I remember this kid being like the person working there was showing the kids a chicken, and this kid freaked out. Literally had never seen a chicken. I don't think they'd even seen a picture of a chicken in their life, and just was like, it's obviously wings, and was like, what the hell is this? And I know they've got there's an urban farm in London, because so many inner city kids just have no concept of these animals or what they do or where they come from, and they just wouldn't see it because they're just not.
Yes, I used to work near there in Vauxhall, and it's a bit of a weird place because they've got like llamas, and stuff. And I don't remember seeing pigs. It's too small, I think, for pigs and sheep and stuff like that. They've definitely got llamas. They're very cute. Anyway, I got a bit sidetracked.
What did your friends and family think about it when you changed?
They were fine. Do you know what? They just, as I say, my mum and dad have been really good. They just embrace it. They just know it's part of who I am, and they understand my reasons. And I always joke with my mum and my dad, when if my dad moans, every now and then I'll have a little dig at him about not being a vegan, and I'm like, it's mum's fault. She wouldn't let me kill spiders. If she'd have just let me kill spiders, I wouldn't be a vegan.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, generally speaking, they've been really, really supportive. I'm their vegan friend. They will always come to me to ask questions. They'll message me on Facebook. Oh, my friend's coming to stay. They're a vegan. Where can I take them? That kind of thing. And it's just really, it's a non-issue. It's an absolute non-issue. So
that's really positive.
When you get the odd comment about from work colleagues, oh, what are you having for your lunch? What are you having for your lunch? Why is this a question? Piss off. Let me eat my...
I love that.
Is that why they keep writing rude words about you on the wall?
Yeah, from the teachers. Yeah, I think it's just who I am.
How have things changed for you?
Oh, lots happened. I'm older, for starters. Things are easier now, definitely. These new vegans coming in, they don't know how hard we had it back in my day. There's obviously there's just so much more awareness and knowledge about veganism and allergies as well. I think in some ways that's helped us in terms of being more aware of people having allergies, because people understand the importance of choosing certain things especially when you're in a restaurant. In the shops and things are so much more readily available, which makes it so much easier. I think as you get more, you've been vegan for longer, in some ways you can become a little bit complacent at times. I brought in Tesco's the other day some rice cake things, and they were prawn cocktail flavored. Check the label, vegan, fine. So I picked up the barbecue ones as well. And I went to eat the barbecue ones yesterday, and I was like, oh, these have milk in. I just didn't even think in my brain, when you're luckily I will eat them, but it was sometimes you kind of forget, I guess, because you're so, things are so much easier now. I know that I picked up hummus before and it's had milk in it, and been what the, hummus is hummus is the staple vegan product. Although shocker, I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah, so
I think we've got to stop the podcast now.
No, I'm not.
We did the same with guacamole a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there's 2 very good ones in Tesco that we always have. and then we were in a different supermarket, and we just picked up just like guacamole's on the list, pop it in the trolley. Got home. Oh, balls! It's got milk in it. Who puts milk in guacamole? Come on.
It's really annoying. So, for example, like I've got the telly on in the background because you're really boring. No, I'm joking. And the Flora advert was on, and I remember when they changed Flora battery, and they suddenly
Yes.
And the thing was, it was frustrating about it is my mum, bless her, would always buy it for me, and I had to say to her, Mum, this has got milk in it now. Like, obviously, lucky Mum and Dad can have it, but we were discussing it. The packaging did not change at all. They changed a tiny little bit, and we were talking about how, for me, it would piss me off if I ate it. I'd be annoyed. But for example, my friend's little boy who has a dairy allergy, that could put him in hospital or worse. Like, that's not okay. And it's just, I think sometimes brands need to be a little bit more mindful. And I think sometimes they take a backward step, don't they? Like, remember when Jammy Dodgers suddenly put milk in their biscuits, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, why is that?
Yeah, why on earth would you do that?
It seems like bourbons. Most bourbons are vegan, and then every now and then you'll get some, and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
So you were vegan BC, by which I mean before Cowspiracy. When the current wave seems to have started, and that's the sort of time that me and Wes both went vegan. So
someone old.
How can you compare how can you compare the two sort of the times, like BC and AC?
So things like the shops and stuff are much easier, but also people know a lot more about veganism, and I think people are a lot more now. You're always going to have idiots who are like, oh my god, bacon, because you've got a brain cell, and also bacon doesn't taste that great anyway.
No.
But I can't remember what I was saying because I just got into a lane of hatred.
Awareness of
people are more aware of why people are vegan. So whether that is because of caring for animals, whether it's an environmental factor and things like that, people are much more knowledgeable, and I think it's less intimidating. So when I first became vegan, like I said to you before, I remember putting on Facebook, I'm not going to become a full vegan. I'm not going to be, because for me, that meant I needed to reach a certain gold standard and needed to get my gold star. But also I knew people like Annie and Roy and Philippa, they were so committed to being vegan. It was such a big part of them that I didn't want to get it wrong, if that makes sense. Whereas now, actually, I'm more confident about it. I'm more happy I know that if somebody says to me, oh, what about honey? Or what about eggs? I don't feel like, oh my God, this is the most scary question in the world, and they're going to think I'm mad. They're going to go, oh yeah, didn't really think about it that way, or they're going to have more understanding. So it's easier from that perspective, definitely. You're less of a freak show, I guess. You know what I mean? People don't look at you like you're a two-headed monster. I find far more often now people will go, oh, my sister's vegan, or my friend's vegan, or oh yeah, I'll tell you, I actually have oat milk or whatever. Like Ella's boyfriend's dad came around, has been laying a patio for us, and I said to him, I obviously offered him a coffee, and I said, I'm really sorry, I don't know why I apologise, but I was like, I've only got oat milk. And he was like, oh, that's fine, I have oat milk at home. And it's like, oh, okay. And Josh had never thought to say to me, oh yeah, my dad has oat milk. But it's like Josh, when he's here, he's always has oat milk in his coffee, doesn't bat an eyelid at it. It's much more like the norm.
Yes. And that's what George had said in our last episode, that nowadays most people will know of a vegan. They may not know them directly, but they know, like you say, like, oh, my mate's brother's vegan or something like that. So it's not this sort of weird thing that no one knows about anymore.
I also find that I'll sometimes get people message me, and they'll be like, oh, we do meat-free Mondays, and it's like, oh, hang on, let me get out my stickers.
Oh yeah.
Because they have this kind of pride in it, like they almost want you to go, oh, well done, which is really, I don't mean that to belittle what they're doing and what they're saying, but it's really sweet in a way that people are like kind of embracing it more as, oh, actually, this is the positive thing, rather than we're the weirdos who don't have sausages on a Monday kind of thing.
Yeah. I was chatting to a mate he takes the piss out of me quite a lot, but he actually said to me that he was looking at changing his milk, and
Yeah.
he had I got any thoughts on it. I told him about only barista in coffee, and he was like, all right, okay. Yesterday we were in a meeting at work, and I was getting all barrels from everywhere,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine, just carry on, I don't care. And then one guy said that I tried some like oat milk that's like the official barista stuff they use at Starbucks or something. Just tasted like cardboard, and I thought you're literally just saying that just to have a go. At the same point, this other guy, he went, "Oh yeah, I know about early barista," and I thought, yeah, because you've been trying it, but he didn't get the chance because this guy had already made the cardboard comment. It was like that could have been such a good moment, but it was just ripped away. I was like, damn.
I know, yeah. Some people, they just feel that they need to, like, we're the butt of jokes, aren't we? We're an easy target, and it's because I think sometimes people, they feel they get on the defensive because they know whatever they ask you, you're going to show them that they're wrong, and it's not in a nasty way. Like, I've never felt the need to sort of, like, for example, have a go at Ella or have a go at my parents for still consuming animal products, because I care about them and they don't belittle me. But other people, if they try to come for you and say nasty things, what are you gonna feel free to take the piss. Like, you literally are still being breastfed from something that's
that's it.
Like,
what's the worst thing you can say about a vegan? Oh, look at you, not killing animals.
Yeah, what are you, like,
hand.
So the age-old question that everyone asks vegans is really quite annoying. So where do you actually get your protein from? Just for anyone that might be listening that's thinking these vegans are mental because they like lacking protein. Where do you get yours from?
I'm probably like, I'm as much as I'm a vegan with animals, I am also very much a snack vegan, a junk food vegan. I don't know anything about protein, nor do I care, because
yes, brilliant.
by function, nobody gives a shit about your protein unless you're a bodybuilder, and then you're more concerned about somebody taking steroids, or you're a vegan. Like, why is my health a concern to you? Like, I don't ask you about, how many McDonald's you eat a week. I don't comment on the fact that you smoke 20 a day, or that you've got a clear, you drink every weekend. Like, it does not affect me in any way, shape, or form. The amount of protein I have does not affect you in any way, shape, or form, unless I'm collapsing through protein deficiency. And I'm sure there would have been other indicators before that. It doesn't affect you. Like,
nope.
Piss off.
I like that.
I'm alive and kicking. I'd like to say I'm still a healthy runner, but I'm not, because I haven't run in quite a while. But I'm still functioning. I'm still breathing, probably much to some people's disdain, like from the carnival runners. But other than that, I'm all right.
How are you still breathing? I don't know. Just I don't
know where protein comes from. I don't know what it does. I'm not a scientist. I teach English, so I don't. Yeah. It probably comes from donuts, because that's how I've survived the last 7.5 years.
So as long as you're spelling protein right, then it's okay.
I missed that. Yes. What was that?
As long as you're spelling protein right, it's okay.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
All right. So what's the best thing about being vegan?
I mean, I'm a legend, obviously. Just knowing that you are morally better than most other people on the planet. No, I'm joking. Everybody thinks, we've got some sort of, like, we think we're better than everybody. I get to eat what I want, pretty much. I have a good life. I'm happy with the fact that I don't cause harm to animals. And I know that's really mad, but, like, my mental health, for example, has not been great this year. Got Nora, our dog, And I just look at her and I think sometimes, I just love you so much. And I just would never, like, the idea of causing pain to another animal is mad. So yeah, I get joy from that. Like, I went to, I think I told you, Matt, I went to the open day at the animal sanctuary a few weeks ago, and we stopped on the main road there because there was a sheep.
Yes.
And I helped somebody, I was helping them catch it. Got absolutely floored by this sheep, the bastard. Like, come on. But I grabbed its fleece, and obviously it was one of the big strong ones, and it just ran and it floored me, which was fine. I was okay. Managed to corner it with a few other people, which was wonderful. Started directing the traffic, and this man in a white van drove past, and he started going out the window. And like, literally, so I was surrounded by about 4 other people. I think one other person was going to the vegan, to the open day. Apart from that, nobody else was, like, and they didn't have their vegan badges on, so I don't think they were vegan. But we all just looked at each other and thought, you absolute twat. Like, how is it? Like, you've seen, like, you're such a big man, but you haven't got out of your van to help us. Like, I take joy in knowing that I'm not that much of a dickhead, basically. Yeah, so it makes me happy knowing that I'm doing what I can, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing your bit, aren't you? That's it. We're doing our bit.
Doing my
That's
bit.
all, and that's all you can do, isn't it?
That's
Exactly.
it.
So what's your favourite vegan product at the moment? Anything you like. Anything you like.
Oh, so I am enjoying the new vegan Baby Bells. Wonderful.
Oh,
I've not seen them. Where are you getting them?
Sainsbury's only. It's one of those where somebody's got to keep like the hold on it. So Sainsbury's only. They're good. They're nice. But I made a discovery in Sainsbury's last night in the bakery aisle. Bit random. Single portion. Vegan, clearly labelled vegan, Jamaican fruitcake.
No way.
My Sainsbury's is open for another hour and 15 minutes.
I'm not joking. I was like, I'll get one of those. They're £1 a slice, they're not bad. And it wasn't in the vegan section, it was literally with the cake. My dad loves Jamaican ginger cake, so I got him one as well. Mum and Dad are both poorly at the moment. They come back from holiday with COVID. But I popped round to drop off their shopping for him, and I went, Dad, I got you that, check it out. And he was like, ooh. Dad's going to be all over it as well, which is what I love, because he loves buying me vegan products, and I like finding him vegan stuff as well. And he'll be like, that's quite nice, actually, that is. But I ate it last night, and now I drive past Sainsbury's on my way to work, so I'm slightly concerned that I am going to turn into a Jamaican fruitcake. It was like, I'm not joking, amazing.
Wow.
That was spot. I didn't know it was missing from my life, but I'm glad it's here. And
it's like when you go to IKEA.
Yeah, but I will.
It's all those things you didn't know you couldn't live without.
I will personally keep them in business, this company, so that the same in it, because it was amazing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's good. Just imagine
where's he signing off? Where's his
No, I know.
That's it. I'm done.
Let's hurry this up. I want to get to the shop. I'm thinking in about 12 months they'll go, oh shit, we forgot to put the bloody milk in. Bugger.
Yeah.
We've got to glaze the top with egg yolk.
Yeah. But it's one of those,
God.
when you just stumble across something really random sometimes. Like we quite often get these big name products, like, as I say, I think there's Vegan Philadelphia come out recently.
Yeah.
There's like Baby Bells. You'll get. I'm trying to think of some other examples.
We had the Vivera salmon steak recently.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Oh my God!
I was like, how do they do it? But it was tip top.
Oh, Vivera is very good. But in like big companies, they every now and then will bring out vegan products. We have like the vegan Kit Kat and stuff like that. And it's like, this new company. And then every now and then you just stumble across this little gem.
Yes.
Hidden in the bakery aisle in Sainsbury's. And I was like, amazing. I need to find out the family pack and then get a fork and eat it.
Tremendous. Okay. What advice would you give to anyone who's thinking about going vegan?
Just do it. Like, you see some people who are very much like, you should be able to go vegan overnight. You shouldn't. It's not as easy as that. You know, we're creatures of habit, and it takes a while for us to kind of get used to things. And even now you might come across something you think, oh, I didn't even think that wouldn't be vegan or vegetarian or whatever. So just take your time with it. Experiment, try things out. Like, I absolutely, don't hate me for this one, I don't like Oatly Barista. I think it's crap. It's too much. I like an Outpro unsweetened. I like a Minor Figures.
Oh yes, that's a
Minor
good one.
Figures is very good. And there's I think it's Probamil or something like that I used to get in the Co-op years ago, before you know, all these big companies came in. Find what works for you. Like, I'm a tea and a coffee drinker, so oat milk works for me, but only certain oat milks, because otherwise they split in tea or split in coffee, but not the other one. And then just testing. Like, if you're worried about not having cheese, just forget about cheese, or change everything but cheese for now. You know, just take it slowly, and you'll find the products that work for you. And no doubt you will have seen on like loads of vegan groups, or you know, things like Accidentally Vegan. Some people will love products and others will absolutely hate them. You've got to find what you like. You know, as when we ate meat and dairy products, we didn't all like the same things. So, you know, find out what works for you, basically.
I think you're quite cool, and I quite enjoy listening to you talking. But you've said you don't like hummus and you don't like Oatly Barista, so I can't think of you.
Are you just saying that so you can go down to Sainsbury's now?
Yeah, Wes, I have introduced you to Jamaican fruitcake, so
Okay, all right.
Yeah, tit for tat. That I think that.
you forgive, all else will be forgiven.
Fair enough.
I think you're equal on that. That's fair.
Yeah.
You just love the labels. You just love it because it's Oatly. Container, you wouldn't look at it and try.
That's got to be it. Yeah.
So, who's your vegan inspiration?
Oh, 100%. Like Philippa, Philippa Bennett, who was my tutor at uni. Annie and Roy, just because their dedication to animals is like second to none. And also they're hilarious when they tell you stories about doing SAB work and stuff like that. But also somebody who I find incredible is, and I'm sure others have talked about her, Fiona Oakes. I remember going to see her talk, and I don't think I'd been vegan that long, but I saw her at a running show. Or was it? It might have been a veggie show. I can't remember. But there wasn't a lot of people there, because I think it must have been a veggie show, because it wasn't about running. So I went and spoke with her, and it was, if I remember rightly, before I did the London Marathon. And the way she talks about animals and veganism is so humbling, because she is probably the most selfless person I've ever come across. Every single thing she does is about the animals in her care, even to the point of running marathons. Like, she's the fastest woman on every continent, and she doesn't do it so that she can go on telly and be like, oh my god, I'm amazing. You know, she doesn't aspire to be like the next Mo Farah or Paula Radcliffe or anything like that. She does it so that every time she does it, she can go, I'm doing it for the animals. I'm a vegan, and this is what it means. And I just think she's absolutely incredible. And when it comes to things like diet and stuff, she lives on a pretty much whole food diet, because she doesn't treat herself to any of the luxuries. It's all about whatever comes into the sanctuary. And that is just absolutely incredible. Plus, she's an absolute machine. Like, if you get the opportunity to watch her documentary, for me, that is far more inspiring than, and I understand the point of things like Game Changers and Cowspiracy and things like that. Just seeing this woman who is unapologetically, but not rudely and not aggressively, vegan for the animals, and the things she puts her body through is absolutely incredible. Like, she's just amazing. And I remember going up to her after hearing her talk and going, oh, I'm going to go and do this marathon. I remember I'd been to my local running club, had a marathon talk, And there was this chap here, I can't remember his name because I'd love to slate him. I might message him. And I remember him doing a chat to everybody, and I went up to him afterwards and I said, I can't remember if I was veggie at the time or vegan, but I said to him, oh, like, you know, have you got any advice? Because, you know, I don't eat animal products. And he just looked at me and he went, you're going to struggle. I thought, fuck you.
Oh, wow. No way. What a dick.
And I just thought, that's so rude. You haven't asked me anything about my diet. You haven't asked me anything about my training. You've just gone, you're going to struggle. And I don't know if that was because I was a girl and a veggie or vegan. It was just mad. And I remember going to speak to Fiona, and she was just like, the advice she gave was so real, if that makes sense. She was like, just take your time, do what works for you, build it up, you know, try this, try that. She was very much, I'm not an expert. This is just what I do, and this works for me. And I just thought she was just so, just like such a wonderful human being. And I think if everybody in the world was like Fiona Oakes, we wouldn't have any problems. She needs to be protected at all costs.
Yes. So we were talking just before you joined us, Sian, in the intro about who we'd like to see at Vegan Camp Out next year, and I would love to see her speak.
Yeah, she's just, and what's amazing is she's standing at the front of this room going, you know, I'm the fastest woman on all continents, but not look at me, I'm amazing. She's like, yeah, and then I just went and did this, and when I was doing marathon to sub, my toe like ripped open, and I think it broke, something like it broke and the bone came through. And then I found this guy who wasn't very well. So instead of setting off the flare, I just kind of carried him to the next checkpoint. It's like, what are you talking about? Basically, like, put a carrier bag over her foot and carried on. I think she said something like she was born without a kneecap. She's got
something like that, isn't it? Yes, she's got some.
And she's just like, well, I just kept going. What do you mean? Like, I get a bit of heartburn, and I'm like, oh, I think I'll just have a sit down for a minute. She's got no kneecap, broken toe, rescuing people. It's like,
in a desert.
Yeah, just in
I've only got to run 10 meters down the road. I'm like, oh god, I don't know if I can manage this.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
I've got a bit
she's
of
incredible.
I won't do me 20 miles this week. Like, it's like,
And when she's not doing that, she runs the animal sanctuary for about 200 animals or something,
yeah,
isn't she?
I think it was just before it might. Do you know what I think it was? And I might be completely wrong because it might have been a different situation. Just before she went out, one of the horses stood on her foot, and her first thought, oh crap, I can't go and do this marathon, which means I can't go and do this. And she gets people, and it not because she's one of these Instagram people who wants to get everything for free. She's like, yeah, I'll come and run your Arctic marathon, but you're going to pay for me to do it, because I'm not paying you because I've got animals to feed. I'm not giving you that money because I need that for. She's just what a woman,
Incredible, yeah.
And now I'm just fangirling. And yeah.
Oh dear. So, what's your favourite vegan venue or restaurant, apart from the cafe at Animals in Need?
Yeah, that's a good one. Although every time I go in there, I'm going to make Emma listen to this. Every time I go in there, I see Emma, who works there, and she goes, "How many guinea pigs are you taking today?" Like, Emma, I don't need any more guinea pigs. I've got 7 guinea pigs. Yeah. So I go up there with Ella. She's like, Ella, just go and see what guinea pigs you want. Are there any guinea pigs you want? I'm like, no. Do you want a cat? I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
She knows what Ella's like. So yeah, Cafe Animals in Need, amazing. I'm really gutted the Quirk Space, which was in Olney's, closed down, which is a real shame because that was really, really good. Veggie World takeaway in Bletchley, which I've been going to for years, way before I was vegan. My friend lives over that way, and we used to go and get Veggie World and sit in. That was always really good. Wagamama's is really good. And then also talking to the kid, and I haven't been for a long time, so I can't guarantee what I'm saying is right. But I was saying to the kids at school today, we were talking about food, and I haven't been to Nando's in a really long time. But at one stage, they were doing some good vegan options.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, they were. And so that was good. And then, but this is a classic, you know, they said to me, oh, miss, what would you have? Do you have like the butterfly chicken burger? And I said, well, no, I don't eat meat. And they were like, well, don't you? And they were just totally cool about it. They were like, okay, so what do you have? And then, yes, we had a bit of a chat about that.
I don't eat chicken or butterflies.
Yeah.
I'm done
and
tonight.
then they just were more concerned about the fact that I would have it mild. They're like, what? We didn't know. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like local places. Oh, Chester Arms in Chicheley, which is where I saw Matt last Christmas.
Oh yes, that's where we were. Yes, that's where we.
I was down in the little bit and with my friends, and I messaged him. And I was like, "Are you in the Chester Arms?" He was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that was the weirdest message I've ever got.
Stalker.
I was literally it pinged up on my phone. We just arrived, just sat down, like it was a family thing, just saying like hello everyone, happy Christmas, all that sort of thing. And then like my phone buzzes. It's like, are you in the Chicheley Arms? I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm looking around like there's only about
staring in at the glass like
and I didn't realise.
So I always see you obviously like on Facebook.
Yeah, normally in a running vest, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like,
yes.
Oh, I'm not sure. He hasn't got his vegan t-shirt on. Might not be him. Yes, I'm really lucky. That's just up the road. That does some amazing options. So yeah.
Yes, I can vouch for that. It was lovely when we went there.
Well, good and
really good restaurant
sizes, which is the most important thing.
Really good.
I love the food. Yeah.
Excellent. So this is our final question. We developed it a few weeks ago when we had our.
Were you going to say just for me then?
No. No, it was me and Matthew were talking about this, and we said, shall we put it in? And we have. So, what is your hope for the future of veganism? Do you have any hope? Because we all feel a little bit sad.
Do you know what? I don't feel sad about veganism because, as I said earlier, I think it's on such a positive. You're always going to have negative people about anything. Obviously, the big dream is everybody stops consuming animal products. But in the realms of immediate reality and perhaps our lifetime, I think for me, the most important thing is people just recognizing, even if they can't become vegan, the idea of just why most of us are vegan, which is obviously, as we said, like to do the least harm. And kind of taking that forward with the idea of just trying to be decent human beings. I've got a real thing about I don't like nastiness, I don't like unkindness, I don't like fighting and bickering and that kind of stuff. So people can just be decent human beings and in that take on board that animals aren't our right as a piece of property or as something we can use, the world would be a lot better place, you know. And I know that's a bit of a kind of utopia thought, but you know, there's enough shit to deal with in the world without us being horrible on top of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of our guests previously said we shouldn't let we shouldn't let good be the enemy of perfect. Yeah, and if, like you say, if people become nicer and reduce their animal consumption, then it's better to have a lot of imperfect vegans than people up on their high horse.
And I know I've seen things before, like I'm not on most Facebook groups now, vegan Facebook groups, because of the way people speak to each other. And I remember seeing things before, and it was a few years ago, really sad things like in the lead up to Christmas. Well, I don't know what to do about going to my family at Christmas because they're going to cook a turkey. And it's like, are you seriously saying that you are going to like essentially disown and have nothing to do with your family because they're not vegan? Like, unless you were born vegan, which the vast majority of us were not, how can you behave like that? Like, my mum and dad, they're not vegan, but they're some of the most supportive people I know. And I would never, ever fall out with them over veganism. Like previous Christmases, we've gotten to them and they've always cooked for me. Last Christmas, they came to me and they did do that thing of my mum and dad were a bit like, we always have turkey. What do we do? And I was like, do you know what? If I make everything else vegan, if you want to cook a bit of turkey at home and bring it over, that's fine. But I'm not having it cooked in my house. And they were like, that's absolutely fine, Sian. It's your house. We completely agree with that. We respect that. And we had a really nice time. I would never, ever say to them, you're not coming around my house or you're not or I'm not coming to you because of that. I think it's really sad when we get to the point of disassociating ourselves from people.
Yeah.
Because they're not living up to our standards.
Yes,
I've noticed that, like, people will, like, obviously family's a lot closer, and I understand what you're saying. There are people out there that, like, won't go to a wedding. They won't go to their best mate's wedding because they're not putting vegan food on. Okay, if you're not going to put vegan food on, I want to come and see your wedding. I want to come and see your happiest day. As long as there's a chippy over the road, I'll go and get myself a bag of chips. Look,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
And I think people then run the risk of just becoming really bitter.
Yeah.
Yes, and it doesn't help the cause either. I don't think either.
Yeah, and also it does. It just makes people go. What will happen is, I'll tell them that I'm vegan, and they'll go, "Oh God, I had a mate who was vegan. He was absolutely bonkers and had a go at me and really hated me because I didn't see his point of view, or because I wasn't doing exactly what he wanted me to do." And that's just, it's not good. That's
something that Wes dragged me into a Facebook group called the Vistopia Support Group.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And it's called Vistopia. It's a thing that's been coined by a psychologist. That is basically the anguish that vegans have of living in a carnist world. Basically, that the fact that we're vegan and they're not, and the way that it plays on your mind. And I feel some of the things that people post are very much along those lines of, like, there's quite a lot of Americans in the group, I think, and they're saying, oh, it's Thanksgiving coming up and I can't bear to sit at a table with my whole family while they eat a turkey and I eat something else. And I think I can't really get on board with that.
Thanksgiving, you're celebrating annihilating a whole nation.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting with one turkey.
And nearly wiped him out, but apart from that, crack on.
Yeah. But I can't really get on board, like you say, like refusing to spend any time with your family because they don't share your exact views.
And this is the thing.
I think it just isn't right.
Yeah. I think the thing with it is, even if that's your point of view, where do you draw the line of disassociating yourself with society, your friends, and everybody else? What lengths do you go to isolate yourself from that? And at what point does it then become almost dangerous of you, almost becoming like a cult mentality? Where you can't do anything outside of that, and it becomes really dangerous.
And wouldn't it be better to go along, eat some awesome vegan food, and show people, actually, do you know what, you can still have fun as a vegan?
Yeah. Like the last few years, I've got the M&S like nut roast thing. My family love it. They have it as their stuffing. They absolutely love it. Like, anyway.
There we go. Okay. All right. Wes has given us the 2-minute wind up, Sian. So,
sorry, I just go with it. I just go, sod it.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, or we have.
Yeah.
We have.
What the biggest problem is with being vegan?
Oh, go on.
Whenever you go somewhere where there's a veggie option, it just thought, because I'm going to Watford tomorrow night, why is it always curried?
Oh, that's a good shout.
Everything.
You're not a curry fan.
I just want a pie. I don't want a curried sausage roll. I don't want a curried pie. I don't want. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. That. No, I get that. Yes, it's the same at Leicester. I took my lad to see Leicester in the summer, and the vegan option was a curried sausage roll. It was like, just have a sausage roll. Why have you got to put curry on it? Weird. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We've really loved it.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Enjoy editing out all the dog barking, the dog talking.
Well, that was good, wasn't it?
That was a great one. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, very much so.
That was a great episode. Can't wait to edit it.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you want to get involved, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and loads of other places.
YouTube. If there's anybody that wants to come on who listens, you can obviously message via any of those channels, but you can also email us if you want to email us at howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.